ask forgiveness.
Woo-hoo.
And it's funny because I'll be reminded of things as I'm doing them. Like I used to tell people that, and then somebody told me, and I was like, oh yeah, this is the time where I need to hear that the most.
Yeah. Oh, this works.
So
Yes.
I normally start my podcast like this. I am a guy from a place, CharmCityBipper, Quis The Vndl. Marquis is the name my mama gave me. I'm blessed to be here at Conscious Planet, a space in Virginia, Norfolk.
Yes.
It is
North of the folk people.
North of the folk people. Just great vibes. I love your outfit. I love
thanks.
your energy. He's
Much
already
love.
taught me like 7 things, and I'm having to reel back through because we're talking about eyesight.
Okay.
We're talking about internal gut issues.
Yes.
We're talking about the power stress has over us.
Yes.
And we just met less than 30 minutes ago.
Less than 30 minutes.
It's so beautiful.
Purpose.
Source.
with the
Alignment.
purpose.
Source. Truth.
Yeah.
And
That's it.
I want to ask you, what sparks your journey?
Children.
For my kids.
There. Yeah, children building.
Yes.
Yeah, no, having a child and seeing a child pass away in the stomach had me look back at, okay, I've now getting into this adept stage, not evolved stage. And because of things that we were taught in school, from Robert Fitzgerald to other people, Sigmund Freud, and not know the truth behind, evolving energy versus adapting energy. And, from where I'm standing at, I'm Buddha Eternal, by the way.
Buddha Eternal.
I had a Buddha that was shipped, same ship I was on, from Frankfurt, Germany to here in America. So it took me to bump my head, look back at myself from the age of 16, and still go through what we call a comma or a coma. That's a comet. And then you see the period. It's a period, also it's a pyramid, and how you see your midsection. So me reflecting, always going to that midsection. Me reflecting was like, oh. So I've had high blood pressure as an issue, and having a second child was more like, when you realize they call it deflowering of the woman. A woman can deflower her energy, and that is when the baby is in existence. So when a woman has another child, that's like her doing more of a deflowering.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought this was part of the setup. It just looked right.
It was on purpose
awesome.
too, man. Had a blue reflection. Yeah, we're talking about communication. So what ended up happening was the second child that was coming didn't make it. And I was like, oh, wow, in 4 months. And that kind of took me from, marry, going to the engagement concepts, to get a job and, work the white collar, to the blue collar stages, to then the reality that kicked in and was like, oh, I feel depressed. I don't know where this is coming from, And we have a tendency to do that, even when we're communion connected. We wouldn't know it, because after we walk away from the communion, you're still disconnected. And you're like, oh, something's still not right. And then you go through holidays, right? And in the holidays, you're like, yeah, everybody's having a holiday. It's a holiday. Yeah, holiday. And then after you're done, you're like, man, something still ain't right. And so it's like you're reliving this dirt or energy of earth connection that you pushed under this rug. And, rug is your gore and your angor, your anchor, your anger. And so you got to anchor to yourself. And now this is basically a ship after a while. It doesn't shipwreck, but it's in the corner. And, from a little lump that's in your carpet, you already know. You might have walked over it several times. It was cool. You knew it was there. No one knows it's there. It's kind of cool. We good. But after the years kind of get there, the lump get a little bigger, then you trip. Oh! Nobody gonna think about it.
The smallest thing can cause the biggest detriment.
Yeah, a mountain to a molehill, a molehill to a mountain. That's the reversals of how you say the smallest things are the biggest things, and the biggest things are really the smallest things. That's how you downsize. And I had to realize for myself, full circle 360 to now 361. Step out of the circle, see yourself. Where that paint come from? Oh, that's pain with a T. So if I ain't, that's AINT. If I ain't it, well, who's in it? Somebody's still in of the AINT. You know, so it's about your entertainment, your ENT, your how do you entertain yourself? How do you edutain yourself to education?
What are you
know I mean?
consuming? What are you consuming consciously and unconsciously?
On a constant, because we call it continuum. You know what I mean? Even ED is education, but it's past education, not just like right now in the present. So we have to continue this advanced knowledge
To move forward.
because this is how advanced knowledge really does work. And because on a communal scale, this conversation has already been said.
Absolutely.
We're just throwing a pendulum swing right now to where everybody else is like, that's a familiar. That's a familiar.
I knew that.
Oh, it's a familiar. Oh, I know how to jump rope. That's familiar. So you'll start to get familiarities after a while. Now, you can never say you're lost. You got all these signs and signals that become waves, and sign and waves become signal waves. That now you see a free, the queen and queen of the sea. And we say queen and queen of the sea, we hear frequency. But when we say queen, not knowing queen is the masculine term to queen. Now, when it became kin, then we heard king. And that's why most people want to conquer things. You know, put that ring on the finger, conquer things. It don't have to be a woman. It don't have to be a man. It's a masculine and a feminine. Now, major thing. I'm going to break the whole news to everybody right now. We came up with this periodic table. It's a IC or IK, but KI is how some people say KO to themselves, and I know it. So your key is your KEY, also KAI, and then a CHI, which is still chi. How we've been saying it to our children's. How do we shield? Not to shield them, but knowing that the she and the he connection, the shield. The L and the D is led light. It's just missing the E. That's how we shield light. But we don't just shield light, we shell light. We reveal light. So when you're actually opening up your light, you're unveiling light, you know?
It's
That's how
there.
we're revealing light, right? So we're not evil in light. We just come out of the darkness. And when some people see you in the dark, they think you're not light or heavy because you're not light. So to remind oneself of how do we get back into the ED, the education, it's been a DE and dead AD. This is the AD time frame we in, right? Okay. So BC is before we even knew what C was. C could be commerce. C could be corpse. C could be commercial. C could be a carnivorous connection. And we didn't see the concept of the C not being a K energy. So you got to see your way out, or is an AB and not knowing your AD. You end up missing the C. That's how you're missing also E, which can be silent, but we use E to see how vowels change and interchange things. So when we utilize this, just like in our education, let's look at it not just ED, AD, ID, because that's how you look at yourself, right? By identification. This is how we start to see self, not just say seesaw. See, you could see it, but then when you saw it, is it now past? When you seesaw it, is it balanced? If you know mental and physical, the one thing that really end up being missing is the spiritual. But we know that we're already spirit, so how did we miss spiritual? Okay, that must mean that you only saw all this stuff that's here as spirits and not spiritual to it. Okay, come on.
It's all
beauty.
and I am too.
Okay, there we go.
All in.
Yeah. Huh? Beautiful is beautiful with all. So it's beautiful energy. We even say we fall in love, but it's the all in energy with love. That's how you say it. The F that switch to AF really is your flesh. So we say fa energy. Fa like flesh energy. So we say af like an afterburner, like fire. That's why fire words are spoken as ED being a Hebrew linguistic level. That's how we start learning the languages. Not only learning the languages, learning our culture and the other sides of where all the cultures were coming from. We even know Chenu is China. So we know chi is a key to breath. Not just because it's a word, it's because it's a sound. I just heard it, brother. That's even a sound, even when you release it.
The chi.
We say shoe is on your foot. But that is sa feminine, who masculine. So we say shoe. That's sa feminine, who masculine. And you say sa feminine, who masculine. You hear the difference? And now when you say in your words, it has now origin. You can say your name, but do you feel the origin to your name? Now, if we already sound syllable sigils, we might as well sound syllable our words so we'll feel it. What's your name, brother?
Marquis.
Woo! See, this is the whole example of how we know Marquis as a key. Marquis. See what I'm saying?
I was just making that joke.
And it changes how we say it in tonation.
Marquis.
So if I said, bad dog, and then I reverse the concept, but it's the same tone. Good dog. The dog does not recognize
the difference.
Only thing he does recognize, though, is my tone and action. So we have to address ourselves. How do symbolically we feel about our name? Rolling the tongue. Because see, sometimes the R, like the L, because it said right and left, the left and the right are what, even in Asia, they say the same. Only certain people decide to split that, masculine and feminine. So it wouldn't be the same. It would be separated.
To give
and
us
say these are
a duality
separated.
that's not needed.
And then even equal. We already know woman cannot be equal to man. Man can definitely not be equal to woman. How would I know that? A baby comes out of her stomach. I don't carry that baby half the time she does. Okay, so that must not mean, or that does mean, I am not equal to her. Now, we are different from each other. That's what makes us equal. Now, going back to the periodic table, because I ain't want to lose y'all all the way where it's like, where are you going with this? He was saying everything. Okay, all right. The periodic table represents the Fe, as in Phi. That's iron. Why do you think we had Iron Man in an Avengers for the longest with Captain America? Captain represents a cap with a 10, or captain with a 10 on a connection of 0 and 1, connected as the captain of the ship. We will also say Capricorn energy. So now he's part of this group, and he's got to give this effort of wearing red, the white, and the blue. This is connected to us, the flag that we know, the connection of our set, if we was really going deeper about it, the connection of the feminine and the masculine bonding and having a child. That's why we would say red, white, and then blue. That blue, yes, I respect, is your etheric higher self. But now remind self, if it was blue fire, where would it really be at? It wouldn't be at the top. It would be at the bottom. Air travels at the top. So it had to have air in order for it to turn red. That's the other side. Now that I said that, we're talking about male. Women's are not females. There's not, and even if you took your Bible out, it wouldn't say female up there. It wouldn't say male up there.
Say woman.
So when we're looking at it, it's woman and man. So when we look at the word woman is connected to the womb, and man is connected to her. That's why they put womb and man. So they would never separate. Okay, only us in sound or the words that we say can have a tendency of separating the sound of it. Now, you said rib. Say that again, what you just said?
From the rib.
We were learning about the ribosome. This is DNA. So when we talking about the helix, you take it from that 5-pointed star, where the 6-pointed star, you took one away. That's 6. See, the other one was the Caesarean cut, where they cut the stomach. That's at Virgo, still at the 6. So they got a cut in a section to get the baby out. They even call it a bikini cut. I said, wait a minute, this is getting really out of the plate. But now think about it. The land is called Island. That's I-land. So that is ISIS land. So that's still Aset land. We just don't see it like that. Now take the L off, which is still right from left. You still got A and D, but A and D is DNA. So the Star of David is really the Solomon Star, and the Solomon Star is connected to Sheba. So who else but that be the Megan Star? So that's why you got the 6-pointed star. You got the Tetragrammaton, which is the 7-pointed star. And yes, lo and behold, we have an 8-pointed star. And we've seen this in the cartoons right now. If you haven't tapped into it, please, I advise you to tap into that cartoon. It's Miss Marvel.
Okay.
She basically has this, not only a cartoon, is a comic, it's also a movie. They're giving you the synopsis of this Trinity woman, yet they're not explaining it the right direction. Because we're wanting to give you somebody from America, but they also want to give you somebody from Mexico. So where's America at if you got this as Mexico? And now, where's Mexico at if this is America? A Mexico, Texas, Texaco. We even had this as a Gulf gas station. From Texaco to Gulf gas station. Armaco. All these names are already familiar to you because they're connected to you. Your brother name is a good name to actually think about. Mauritania, Moresco, Marquis, Mauritania, Moors. All these are connected to Mu Shing dynasty even. That's the Asiatic side. That goes all the way to what we call the Bodhi trees, where we got Buddha from. Bodhi trees sat with the Buddha. Yeah, I know there's a lot right there. I just threw all that in there.
Because it's all coming.
Yeah, it's always gotta be like that.
It's not even full circle. It has always been a circle. So it's like to say it's all covered. It's
So
just presenting itself as it's supposed to.
We could see it as how the circle was round, because in the roundness, it was a roundness before it was a circle. So, like how we are learning Anus, Años represents a year, but Anus or Anu, that's Annie.
I'll see it out here.
So Annie, and if A is letter ANI, right? Then you say ANY and Any, but this is still Anu, ANU. So that's the actual deity energy that we speak about. Anu Sueptus, we done got it on the coin. So we're saying I knew it. Renew is your name. How you say renew yourself, RENEW is also RENU. So that's why renew is familiar to Anu. The names never change. It's us that's changing around the name.
And they dress them up to be something different than what they truly
at every
are.
point. Because you see Uranus. You are ran and sun. That's just nuts backwards. So when you say you ran us, why are we being ran anyway? We're in a race. So now we're finding out we're erasing ourselves. We're in a race against ourselves. We're in a Mary and thon of ourselves without the G. That's not good either. Especially with just a thong. That thong, the thong.
Hold on.
Come on, man. What y'all doing?
Shout out Cisco. Shout out Baltimore.
And why was that a drink?
Yes.
And then he called it himself that? Ah, come on. So we must look at how much in the name, sound syllables, sounds, can you resonate that echoes in the beginning with sound. Not just the word, but the sound. That
Because the
gives
sound
it
is more,
echoes.
the sound is vibrational.
Yes.
The vibration is what's sending the energy.
Yes.
So when they tell you not to say words that are defeating,
Right.
is the reason the curse word is what it is
Come
because
on.
it's continuing to have that negative vibration.
So you say curse, and curse is also representation of missing the O. Curse, missing a O is course. So we go through the course, not seeing it could be a curse. You see what I'm saying?
So you're ending the course.
If you know
with the
your
word.
your cord is connected to your spineless and spine self, right? So we have the connection from here, the
All the way up to
occipital back here, and your cerebral connected up here. But now how do you connect up here? Your medulla oblongata. How do you open that? Well, you got to go through yourself. You got to actually see your left and your right hemisphere working. Just like man, we have to learn from masculine and feminine, not just male and female. That's how we got destroyed.
We got to learn from the energies.
Okay.
Because a female or a woman can bring forth masculine energy.
And so here's
how
this
you
child.
Now,
as a child that comes out, is it disrespectful? Is it respectful? If you know that the child is respectful, it's from the origin that is known. But if even that is disrespectful, then that's why there's no origin. So what we have to do, as you say, go back into it. Take a look. It's in your book. If you didn't, it's because it's a captain being a hook. And you've been shook by that hook. All right? It's an S with that H. That's why it's a masculine and a feminine. You say sa, you say H, you got ha. And you put them together. Just like you say shh. Being quiet. I give thanks.
I give major thanks. Ooh.
Respect.
I'm watching this 1,000 now. Buddha?
Yes, Buddha E.
Buddha E. E, energy.
Yep.
Excellence.
That's it. Exuberating.
That's
the exit and the example of everything.
Blessings.
Yeah.
Blessings here.
Yes.
Blessings here.
Yes. Go and get this food. He got his food in front of him. I don't even want him to stop. Yeah.
Conscious. I don't know when to stop either.
I know, right?
This is my first real meal. I had a banana, a blueberry muffin, and a peach fruit cup on the way down. So I'm running off of love.
Well, no, that's great because even for that, if you got time, my sister, I'm gonna start putting these in here. We got also some sea moss treats. Now, if you never had sea moss as a actual dessert, you in for a dessert here.
I gotta leave.
And it's not desert.
I gotta leave with something. I'm
that's
going
right.
with something.
It's like a grandma food that's just healthy. You say, "Oh, I got grandma food, and I can eat it right now in 2023." Which we could say 2014 in African time. We already know that we are in a loop.
Yeah.
So now it's just how you fix your loops as you're looping yourself. That's going back to the 360, actually being a 365. The world being reversed around a year when we might not know the yearly. We must shed. We must shed and reshed ourselves. So now we can say, "Oh, I'm an age or I'm a stage in the age of self." And now you can take the T out and you got sage of self. And that is getting into your inclination. I give thanks to y'all. This is how we get back into the inner. So we say internal before we said external. Now you can become eternal. That's a life thing. Respect.
As I always say, one day made better, as many days made greater. I'm uplifting you to be in a world that cares. If I keep it to myself, I think that's unfair. The joys we are given are best when shared. Visionaries never die. Legends survive through the seeds we sow daily. We get better with time.
Woo.
Affirmations for the ages. Blessings for the ages. Conscious planet, beautiful world.
Respect.
Love into it.
Yes. Go on, put your energy into it and do it.
Yes,
do like residue. President.
Do like
presidential.
Baltimore.
Come on. That's what I said.
On the avenue.
Be more.
More.
Love y'all.
Yes.
Respect.
Yeah. We were searching for the right way, did a lot of wrong. Can't go back, gotta move on. Gotta move forward with corrections given and accept that living still brings pain. Even when you're moving with the best intentions and you blessed with visions of joy, bliss, peace. Gratitude for every day I live to speak and I live to breathe in growth and abundance.